Welcome to the Gavel. I'm Terry Ikume. Now, the week was packed full with activities as the budget defense sessions intensified at the National Assembly. But before we get into the budget defense sessions, let's take a look at the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which was finally passed by the Senate after an emergency plenary session following public outrage on the electronic transmission of election results. Now, it began at the three-arm zone leading into the National Assembly. For 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, protests were held against the initial rejection of electronic transmission results by the Senate. The protest featured notable names.
Anybody says, I went to this primary school, I went to this secondary school, I went to this university, people are supposed to know about that. And that process has to continue through party primaries and everything. And finally, the election must be transmitted electronically from the polling booth direct. We don't want any transit point any longer. We don't want any glitch again. Glitch is finished. We want things to happen directly. No more glitch.
We are asking them to put the bill as real-time electronic transmission. That's what we want. Those are the main things. We don't even want two things. And all those who are parading themselves, switching from different parties, we don't have, the timeline is affected. 360 days, not more than that, not less than that, because you are causing confusion so that you can rig. We don't want any rigging election.
We must mobilize to match police for police. We must let them know that if they are 370, 0.70, like the gentleman said, we ourselves must let them know that they should participate, they should join us. When they see the number of people who have come out, they will join. Now, what's the advantage of transmission, electronic transmission? The advantage is that very few persons will die on the election field. Very few Nigerians. You are saving the lives of Nigerians. The current situation you have now is that every election, people are dying in their droves, in their large number. And because people are dying, they don't care. That day, Senator Babi will be in his mansion with police, with army protecting him, while people like us will be on the field. And they are rigging the election. But you know one funny thing? If you think they won't rig, you're wasting time. To stop them from rigging, we must come out in large numbers.
Now, back in the Senate chamber on Tuesday, the Senate Chief Whip moved a motion to rescind the Senate's earlier decision on the electronic transmission of election results.
Mr. President, I am craving for the indulgence of the Senate for a rescission of our decision as regards clause 60, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act
Amendment.
Recommendation that of the bill.
Electoral Act Amendment.
Yes, Electoral Act Amendment Bill.
Is that contained in 1482 of the Votes and Proceedings?
Page 1482 of our Votes and Proceedings.
So you want to rescind the decision we took last?
Yes, I want that decision to be rescinded.
However, tension rose as some lawmakers demanded that the votes and proceedings be finalized before any motion is considered.
Will it be out of place for us to finish with the votes and proceedings, and then he can go ahead and change any part?
In a voice vote, lawmakers adopted the votes and proceedings, but soon enough, there was an interjection. Senator Baribe raised a point of order, eliciting an uproar.
Point of order, Mr. President. Point of order. My order is order 72, Mr. President.
What does it say? Read.
No. Any senator may challenge the opinion of the president or the chairman by claiming a division. Mr. President, I claim a division.
In respect of?
We need to vote individually now.
On
that motion.
SB, put it to vote! Put it to vote!
Unsurprisingly, Senator Abaribe subsequently made a U-turn on a call for a division.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wish to withdraw my motion.
Any seconder? Any seconder? So they slip that we should go ahead and do division, which he has withdrawn now, is hereby upheld.
The Senate President then expanded the membership of the Senate Conference Committee and expressed optimism that President Tinubu would sign the bill into law as soon as possible.
The Conference Committee, when you meet, you know that this is a matter of urgency. I believe that if you're able to conclude within the next few days or 1 week, the President should be able to sign this amended electoral bill into an act of Parliament within this month of February. So I wish you a worthy deliberation with your colleagues.
Now let's turn our attention to the budget defense sessions, beginning with the committees on electoral matters. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission appeared before a joint committee of the House and Senate on electoral matters. Some proposals contained in the 140 billion naira 2026 budget for INEC raised concerns among lawmakers.
The envelope system, I have to say with respect, is not really helping us. For instance, we don't even have a network of our own. We're talking of a full-scale setting up of a network system now. Assuming we control the network, not dictated to us by secondary providers, then INEC should be held responsible 100% for whatever happens. But by the time you are going to look at the bill, it's something that will be so large.
Democracy is not cheap, but we must spend all our resources for democracy. Because after you have been elected, what do you do for the people? I do not think, with profound respect, that INEC needs hospital. Private hospital, INEC hospital too in Abuja. You have offices in the 36 states. You mean if INEC officer in Benin is sick, he has to come to Abuja for treatment? Why do you have to have your INEC hospital? Do you have INEC special disease? I don't think so. Because this is an area we can avoid so that you focus on your core mandate. Your core mandate is not medicine.
Some proposals contained in the 140 billion naira 2026 budget for INEC raised concerns among lawmakers.
The proposal you have made, does it take account of your infrastructure, your capacity, the support that you need to be able to give effect to the amended electoral law which now prescribes electronic transmission? Do you have that covered, the infrastructure to enable you communicate and transmit from all polling stations? Because we will need money for that. That has to be funded.
Elsewhere, the Accountants General of the Federation appeared before the Senate Committee on Finance. From the outset, lawmakers expressed frustration over a series of complaints about inadequate fund releases to several government agencies from the 2025 budget, as well as outstanding liabilities.
All of them, what they presented clearly shows that there hasn't been any releases. And Mr. President declared state of emergency on insecurity. And what it means on security, what it means is that things should be done differently and security agencies should be funded. First line as a priority. We all face increased dangers every day. People are dying, our military forces are dying, suffering insufficiency at all, and people are just toying around with policies that are not helping us.
What of no confidence?
I mean, this is bad, sir.
It is not about party. Don't assume members of this chamber are not unaware where these monies are channeled. We do. We have the records. We have evidences.
How do we now account to Nigerians that the entire 2025, with all the revenue we generated, we have not spent a dime? Why is the money? Why has it gone? If it's the books, how can we bring out the balance sheet of the federal government? How can we bring out the statement, cash statement, or whatever of the federal government, the cash flow? We want to know, as an accountant general, how do you bring out all those books for Nigerians to see, transparently accountable to Nigerians, that this is why the entire money, the trillions that we generated, the borrowing that we borrowed in 2025, where did it go?
Sir, I must have the fund before I can disburse. I believe that what has caused the problem is not that the system was not working, but that there was no enough fund to process.
A situation where we will be asked, where are we, and we will not be able to give any response is not good. It's indicting to the committee. So I'm using this opportunity to highlight these issues, and I know that my distinguished colleagues also have their own to present. But in the meanwhile, before we even agree, because we have not agreed to take your budget, and we said we are not going to take your budget for 2026. And if we don't take your budget and you spend any money, you know you are spending it illegally.
Amidst a barrage of unanswered questions, the committee moved to continue the conversation behind closed doors. And from one closed door to an open one, this time with the Ministry of Works, as the minister and officials appeared before a joint National Assembly Committee on Works for the Budget's defense.
Any contractor that completed 118 kilometers in 12 months, but we are going to do it. I'm promising. A contract from hold on, sir. I have no regret for terminating that job. I'm telling you, sir, that road that was done by the previous contractor is failing, and that we are maintaining it. And we should be happy and grateful to Mr. President for using concrete, which will last for, 50 to 100 years.
Why will you take a job from a reputable company and give it to an unknown company that has no record of having worked anywhere? If it did, those working on the road now, we would like to know the name and then the project they have done before over the past 10 years or 20 years in Nigeria. Because it's all about reputation.
What began as a routine session quickly turned sour when the chairman opened the floor for questions.
Co-chairman, this is unacceptable. The honorable senator cannot be talking, and the minister is telling us, if I like, I answer. If I don't answer. Would you like us to address you like that?
Allow me only 2 minutes to answer these questions before it will escape. I'm very 100% satisfied with the quality and the speed of work of Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria, Kano project. And my answer to the single senator is, I challenge you for project inspection and bring the best of your consultants. Bring, a static concrete tester, and then let us go and see, there are requirements in engineering. What is the strength of concrete in 7 days? What is the strength of concrete in 28 days? If you do it and it fails, I will throw in the towel.
The minister's remarks sparked more tension as some aggrieved lawmakers cautioned his tone. The session was marked by drama as another shouting match broke out when Senator Nwebonyi began to speak and was cut short by the committee chairman.
This is the first time we are having a minister who is an expert.
You are just praising the minister. You should allow us to thank him. Excuse me. You are for 5 minutes. You are bull-tricking. Don't tell me that, please. You are bull-tricking. You are bull-tricking your boss.
Even an intervention from another lawmaker to calm nerves only further escalated the tension.
You cannot! You cannot! You can't tell me what to say. I'm a senator. You cannot tell me what to say. A black officer from a ruling party. Okay, you are from NFPP. You cannot control our government.
Calm was eventually restored. Well, welcome back to the Gavel. Let's turn our attention now to the Green Chamber for some more budget defense sessions. The Minister of Health defended the ministry's 2026 budget proposal before the House Committee on Healthcare Services. And apart from figures, attention also turned to the presidential initiative for unlocking the healthcare value chain PVAC and the sector-wide approach SWAP which seeks to foster private sector participation in the health sector.
We're raising resources, but not for government, for the industry, because it is the industry that will create the jobs and manufacture the products. There's a reason why Nigeria is not producing what it needs. It was consuming for a very long time, because a mechanism such as PVAC wasn't existent. SWAP is not a program. It just means a sector-wide approach. It's an approach to governing the sector. That's what SWAP is. But now it takes federal government and states working together.
At another session, the EFCC chairman arrived in the company of the chief executive of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. The head of the NFIU spoke on the gains made so far by Nigeria in combating money laundering.
Nigeria has also exited the European Union's removal of Nigeria from the high-risk third country list for money laundering and terrorism financing.
For the EFCC chairman, the Commission's major challenge is funding in the light of technology advancements and innovations by fraudsters.
We had cause to have a bill, an invoice for just one item in my forensic lab for over 4 billion, just one item. Because the activities of the fraudsters are going, high-tech, the same way too, we are trying to stem the tide of this malfeasance, we must also upgrade our technology capacity.
The rest of the meeting continued behind closed doors. Now, the House Committee on Health Institutions met with stakeholders in the health sector, including federal university teaching hospitals, federal teaching hospitals, and federal medical centers for their 2026 budget's defense. The committee chairman criticized the allocations to research contained in the 2026 proposal submitted by the chief medical directors.
We need to change this narrative. We need to do research. COVID came the other time and showed everybody that you're right, took everybody that you're right. The teaching hospitals were helpless.
We should allocate more to the health sector. Some of the push factors are because of the environment, that's the work environment, and some other factors that are pushing our health professionals outside the shores of this country. And of course, remuneration.
According to Professor Bupwada, the health sector is grappling with multiple challenges, including the release of only about 30% of the 2025 budget to federal tertiary health institutions. At another budget defense session, the House Committee on Defense received the Chief of Defense Staff. The CDS called for augmentation of the efforts of the armed forces.
It's not possible for the armed forces of Nigeria to cover everywhere. So it's important for us to enhance the capacity of other security agencies, especially, I repeat, especially the police force and the civil defense, because they have more men, they have better reach. So it's important for us to ensure that these institutions are strengthened for Nigeria to be safer.
It goes further to update the committee on the level of execution of the president's orders to boost security in Niger and Kwara State following recent mass killings.
We're about inaugurating another joint task force that will cover Kwara specifically and some part of Niger, that is Bogu area. That's going to be strengthened to ensure that that area gets better.
Well, it's time now for Constituency Focus, and here's Senator Adams Oshomole, who represents Edo North Senatorial District in the 10th Senate.
I'm happy you followed my campaign. It was tough then. I said to our people that, as political leaders, we owe our people at least the truth. That we must properly define empowerment. I do not think that buying a motorbike, 1, 2, 3, 4 motorbikes for 2,000 youths to share across wards, that is empowerment. because the youth is not going to acquire any skill. And a motorbike for me is not an acceptable mode of mass transportation. When I was governor of Edo State, I actually ended up prohibiting the use of motorbike for commercial purpose, because I got security report about the use of motorbike for certain crimes, but much more importantly, because even motor vehicles too can be used and are being used to perpetrate crime. But the deciding factor was the fact that when I visited the hospitals, both UBTH and Central Hospital, about 70% of patients in the hospital, including orthopedic patients, were victims of motorbikes. The essence of my being in the Senate is not to count the number of sewing machines that I give to quote widows. First, it's not only widows that are poor. The average rural woman is poor because of the nature of our economic system. Your husband manages 1 hectare, and then after the farming season, you use it to produce groundnut, and you sell it in local market. It's just subsistence farming. And so I said to them, I want to deal with those factors that will enable them live their life better. Because our people are not lazy. And they are not asking government to create a long dining table for them to queue in the evening and be spoon-fed. They just want government to deal with the big issues of infrastructure, beginning now with security. Because of the condition of the roads in Edo State, the federal road particularly, the one connecting my constituency to Benin and connecting my constituency to Okene and Lokoja. These are roads that are central to the economic life of our people, because when they go to the farm, they work so hard and they are blessed with good harvest. Those who buy, who come to the 7-day market to buy, they take it to Benin or they bring it to Abuja. When the roads are blocked, this item tends to get perished. And I said, I will work along with the other 2 senators from Edo State, but if I can, I will also persuade our neighboring senators from Delta and from Kogi that all of us should see this road connecting Edo, Delta Edo to the north as our first constituency project. By getting the federal government to complete the road, the dualization of that road has been on for 16 years. That got through about 3 or 4 presidents. Of course, it's easier in terms of quick wins for TV show. The cost of building a kilometer of road, I can buy maybe 3,000 motorbikes and then line them up, bring channel television. These are my constituency projects. Line up the youths and be giving them as if I'm a donor. And 2 years down the road, half of the motorbikes are dead. The youths are confused. Shomoli Tenyo has said that they're waiting for the next senator. No, we should cautiously take them out of poverty by dealing with those basic things. I also believe that in all my own constituency things, I provide for, if you have a market, you should have a school, you build a school, you should also try and see if you can provide for toilets and school halls and so on. We are, rather than building village town hall for a community, how many times do they hold meeting in a typical village? You can build a hall for the students to do the assembly, and during festivals when the community needs to assemble, they can also use that hall.
Well, that's all the time we have on The Gavel. Thanks for watching. Remember to send feedback to thegavel@channelstv.com. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.